You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Decent Show. We are here on episode 26. You guys are in luck. We have another instant classic here. We're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. Reagan Horton and Ryan Money here. Reagan, how is it going?
It's going good, dude. Going good.
Yeah, hanging and banging. I've heard you've seen this movie twice now, right?
Yep, saw it yesterday.
Now, we're going to be, talking about, obviously, Endgame. Probably throughout the whole episode, we might talk about some other stuff before we really dive deep into it. But finally, it's been here. I don't know how long have we been waiting for this? I mean, when did you, I guess, first... Did we know about Endgame during Infinity War? Like, the second they released the next Avengers movie, we already knew it was going to be a two-parter, right?
Yeah, I know they were talking about it, but I never really honestly didn't pay attention to it because I was so hyped for Infinity War. I couldn't really get my focus down the road, I guess. But I'm pretty sure I remember them talking about it while they were, because they filmed them back to back, obviously.
Yeah, and this has been 10 or 11 years in the making, starting with Iron Man 1. And I was talking to my coworker. I think I spent an entire lunch break. It was everybody else's lunch break, but since it was my half day, I technically work through lunch so that I can leave at 2 instead of 3. That's pretty much what everybody does, but most people get something to eat anyway. But anyway, him and I are talking the whole time, I'm not working. And I remember telling him how I was when Iron Man first came out, I just thought it was just a superhero movie. I didn't realize the magnitude behind what was going to happen and where we're at now. When Iron Man came out, I treated it just like Spider-Man and the old Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just treated it kind of whatever. Hey, somebody made a superhero movie. They got Robert Downey Jr. to play him. It's just is what it is.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there was going to be this massive storyline with all these movies related to each other, with all these actors, all of this. I just had no clue. I just thought it was a standalone superhero movie. And now we're here, and I can't believe it. And sometimes I want to go back and rewatch Iron Man 1 and just kind of see the beginning of it, because it's crazy how much time has flown by, because I keep thinking they look the same, and then you see their old photos and it's holy cow.
Yeah.
This has been a long time coming. So
especially some of the women, I guess, they look really different because they've changed hairstyles and all this other stuff. Tony's looked the same pretty much, but he's his face has gotten a lot. Obviously, he's aged.
Yeah. And I don't know if they keep doing it to make her keep looking hot, or if they just keep finding different ways to make her look hot. But ScarJo is I remember when they first casted ScarJo, I feel she had been hot, she had already been a celebrity, been attractive. And when they got her in Avengers, it was oh yeah. But I felt that was kind of the waning years of her hotness. It was kind of the almost like the Kardashians in a way. I guess whichever one's fat now. It was just
nice.
Yeah. It was just waning. People were caring less and less, and I don't know. She's managed to stay hot every movie, and it's amazing. But because I don't even know how old she is now. She approaching 40 or something at this point.
I feel she's got to be 40. I mean, as long as I've known her as an actress, early 2000s, I've seen her in movies, so she's got to be 40.
Well, good for her. So yeah, well, before we dive deep into everything that we love and maybe are confused about, because I don't have too many complaints. I mean, I have a couple, complaints or things that you can probably explain to me and I'll be okay with Avengers. But before we get there,
35. She's 35.
She's 35.
Sorry,
okay.
yeah, I just had to get
I
that
thought she
answer.
was older than that. But yeah, no, she looks. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. She's always looked hot. I just thought she was older than that. But no, that's good. So I've been thinking about Shazam just because I've been seeing. I've seen some tweets now and then, like involving The Rock, and I totally forgot that The Rock was supposed to be involved with Shazam as Black Adam, a villain, right?
Yeah.
So, do you know, like, what happened there? Is it one of those to where, like, Black Adam, The Rock should have been the villain in the Shazam movie, but they couldn't make it work, so they had to make a different movie, and maybe that's why it wasn't as good? Or is he supposed to be in the sequel? Like, what kind of happened there? I completely forgot about it.
Well, it's your classic DC bullshit where basically, this was a long time ago. There was just supposed to be a Black Adam movie before there was ever a Shazam movie.
Okay.
He was set up a long time before Zachary Levi, who's the guy who plays the superheroes, Shazam. Like, he was supposed to be like the one in it, and people were speculating that he was actually going to play both roles because like both characters kind of look like they're supposed to be kind of copies of each other. So he would play both the good guy and the villain. And people were like, "That's going to be nuts," because The Rock's going to be fighting himself. Like,
yeah.
But basically, yeah, like he and The Rock like tweeted out pictures and stuff, and like just somewhere along the line they scrapped it, I guess, and somehow they're still acting like it's going to happen. But I mean, if you're asking me, it's not, because Shazam's like successful, but it's not like it's not just like blowing people away. It's not like just making up billions of dollars. Like, it's not doing what it should be. It's not doing enough to where I think it'll get some momentum, because I feel like a long time ago, back when probably right when like Batman vs Superman came out, like the DC hype was at an all-time high, and like everyone was trying to get in, and like it seemed like such a good idea. Well, let's get The Rock, like Marvel doesn't have The Rock. Let's get The Rock. He's such like a big seller, and I feel like since then him and DC have both taken a sort of a dive, I guess, in terms of popularity, because the DC movies have sucked and The Rock has been in pretty shitty movies recently. So I think they're both kind of just not communicating anymore. I would bet a pretty good amount of money that it's just never going to happen, which is a shame, because it's another one of those, like, hearing about the Batman movie, we've heard about it for so long, but it'll probably never happen. I mean, they'll probably make a Batman movie, but it's not going to be with Ben Affleck now, and who knows if it'll be with this director or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, because I just completely, I don't know why I was never clear on the details, just because I've never followed Shazam a whole lot. Didn't really know anything about Black Adam. I just remember they're like, yeah, The Rock's going to be like in a superhero movie, and then it took me forever to realize that he was going to be the villain, and I was like, well, that sounds really dope. And then just completely forgot that it was supposed to be Shazam, and then obviously Shazam has come and gone, and so yeah, I just thought I'd ask about that. So yeah, I agree with you. They're probably not going to happen, and it's probably for the best, just because I don't know, Shazam wasn't that good, and I don't know if The Rock would save it, or if it would just be another case of The Rock making a bad movie tolerable, but it's still a bad movie, so you're not, not satisfied with it.
Yeah, I think that if it had made Aquaman type of money, like if it had come out and made $1 billion, like Aquaman made so much money. If it had been that case, then I think it would have probably happened. But I almost doubt we're going to get a sequel to it, Shazam, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because again, I think I said it last episode. They set it up for a sequel, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do a sequel. And
we haven't even gotten a Superman sequel, so
exactly. And then it kind of got me thinking too. Shazam got me thinking about Venom too, and how they like set up a sequel and they probably won't make it, or if they do, like it'll probably still stink. And I was kind of thinking how Shazam and Venom are both very comparable in the fact that like the characters are pretty cool, like it's got a lot of potential, and it just doesn't deliver whatsoever. And we've actually had some fan interaction on YouTube about Shazam. Shout out Amy McLeod, or whatever her name was. She has subscribed, so now we have at least like 7 people on there.
Blowing up.
So that's amazing.
Blowing
up. Yeah. Like Hiroshima out here, and she said that what did she say? She's like, oh yeah, like subscribed. And I thought Shazam was brilliant, by the way. And it's like, well, hopefully you subscribe and go listen to the episode because we did not think Shazam was brilliant. So,
I guess I'm hoping it was just like, yeah, this is my opinion. Like, that's fine. That's fine. But actually, you brought up Venom. Like, they're opposites because the critics love Shazam and it made money, whereas most people didn't like Venom, but somehow it still made like a lot of money. So they probably are gonna make a Venom sequel because they got Woody Harrelson to be in there, and I think they've already started filming it, or maybe if they haven't, they're gonna start soon.
Yeah, no, I see, and that's probably just because Venom's a cooler and more well-known character.
True.
So that makes sense.
Which one do you think is better?
Well, that's what I don't get. I can't believe the critics like Shazam. Which one do I think is better? I would say it's a toss-up. It's so tough to pick. I would kind of lean towards Shazam just because it's more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And just slightly more enjoyable. But in terms of like action and like character coolness, gotta give the nod to Venom. But if I had to like, if you're gonna choke me to death with a movie, I guess I'll like pick Shazam. I feel like that'd be a little easier to tolerate. But yeah, both very good letdowns for sure.
Nice. All right. Is there anything else you want to get into before we talk about Avengers?
Yeah, just shout out that we're recording this episode on May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
I executed Order 66 and watched Revenge of the Sith. It's about a 2-hour and 20-minute movie, and it took me about 3 or 4 hours to watch it. But I got it done. Just kept taking breaks, kept getting interrupted, but definitely enjoyable. Definitely my favorite of the prequels. I'm gonna try to watch more Star Wars after this. I mean, obviously the Rockets game is gonna have like precedent over everything, but I might have like
both on. Yeah,
I might have them both on. Have Rogue One in the background. I'm gonna try to watch Rogue One and at least episode 5 and 6. I don't have Last Jedi, but I think that's on Netflix now too, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I might watch that again too. I might skip episode 7 just because I've seen it enough times. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's that. I mean, of course, there's only, of all the new Star Wars, like the new 4 Star Wars movies they've made, I've seen episode 7 the most. So I'm kind of
Solo's on there too, I think.
Good on that. Good on Solo. Don't need that shit. And so over Anakin, I have the high ground. But yeah, I just wanted to. Oh, that's the other thing too is we have a bunch of not a bunch, but we had quite a few like Star Wars weddings today. A lot of people getting married today are Star Wars fans. Go figure. And so we have a couple of DJs doing like ceremony entrances and bridal entrances to like Star Wars Imperial March. And
that's pretty sick.
Yeah. So got a few of those. I think. I want to say Kyle has one. I'm not for sure. I know somebody else does and another person does. I can't remember if Kyle had one or if he was just telling me about another person that had one. But yeah, definitely some Star Wars weddings out there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely like whenever somebody told me that, I was like, oh man, I can't believe today's May the 4th. I completely forgot about that. And it's a Saturday. Like what a perfect excuse to try to watch Star Wars all day. And it's been enjoyable. I always forget how political the prequels are. Like they're really
the Senate and like the Chancellor, yeah,
and like the democracy and overthrow, and they kind of talk about politics quite a bit. And at first, I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool. Like it kind of helps like drive the plot a little bit, and then it gets kind of muddied because to me, like republic, Senate, and democracy. Like I feel like the way they use those words, they sometimes mean the same thing.
Yeah, they use them interchangeably.
Yeah, they use them interchangeably, and then other times they don't mean the same thing, and they don't use them interchangeably, like they're separate things. So I don't know, it kind of pisses me off. I don't get what's going on there. So, do you have any, I guess, like Star Wars thoughts or comments, or anything going on in your world?
No, just like I said, because we were talking about like just the potential of the prequels. Like I hope someone can. Because the potential is you're starting from scratch and you can do whatever you want, really. I mean, they have to end in a certain place, but they can begin wherever you want it. And, like, there's a lot of potential in there. And I'm just ready for them to, take another swing at it and not necessarily be tied to movies that came out, like, 30 years ago. Like, I'm really ready for that.
Yeah. And hopefully with the Disney streaming service between, I don't know if they're going to make movies or TV shows or just any of the content they make, hopefully they pursue other facets of the Star Wars universe. I mean, because I don't know, I didn't realize how many Star Wars books there are.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously there's countless fan fiction. And I mean, I've never watched any of the other shows, but I know some of the shows kind of follow like different storylines or things like that. So I don't know. I kind of want to get into some of that, but yeah, and I saw more info on episode 9, and they did kind of confirm that, you know, Rey's going to be a little bit more explained. And then it just kind of touched on all the stuff that we already touched on about how, you know, they're going to bring Lando back. Somehow Leia's going to be in there briefly. And, you know, the Emperor's back somehow. We'll see what happens there. And then apparently Harrison Ford might be back as Han Solo, so I guess they're going to bring a ghost of him back, or I don't get how that's going to work. But
Interesting.
yeah, no, so we'll see what happens. So are we ready for a little Endgame? We're in the Endgame now?
Yeah, we are going to spoil it, so hopefully no one gets it ruined for them. Like
Heavy spoilers.
Yeah, heavy.
I think didn't the Russo brothers? I think all of the Avengers world has been pretty active on Twitter, and I think I saw like an article basically saying that they're gonna lift the spoiler ban like in a couple of days or like a week, and they're basically saying like if you haven't seen it by now, like sorry about you.
Yeah.
But people are spoiling it anyway. I've heard on Twitter people are just going in the comment section and, you know, tweeting the biggest spoilers, like just random things. Yeah.
And people put they've put illegal videos like on YouTube and stuff, but like I reported them. Like every time I seen it, I report it. So I'm like, that's so fucked up. Like
illegal video of what?
Of just like scenes from the movie that spoil it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So yeah, let's get right into it. Just whatever you want to say. Anything's fair game.
Okay. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Nah, you go ahead.
Okay. So I saw it on Tuesday night at like an auditorium, like a Cinemark that doesn't have luxury lounger yet. So it's like the old seating, just like, you know, regular seats, no reserved.
Ooh.
And so it's like a 3-hour movie. I don't know how, but I made it through the whole movie without having to take a bathroom break. And my ass was hurting from sitting for so long. And I really had to pee. And so I can't believe I made it. But yeah, the movie at first, my initial thoughts the whole time, I mean, I was just so excited. Obviously, I've heard nothing but, oh my God, this is the best movie ever. This changes my opinion on movies. What an epic movie. And I was trying not to let that hype like bog me down, you know, because I knew it was going to be an epic movie. I just didn't want it. I was already tired of the this is the greatest movie ever comments just because I wasn't ready to put it there until I saw it. And I didn't want to have an unbiased opinion.
We talked about it last time. Like we were like, let's just see this damn movie. Like we're tired of hearing about it.
Exactly. So saw it, and I'll be honest, sitting in the theater, like you're excited the whole time. You're just wondering what's going to happen next. And you know, when they do, okay, so I can say anything I want, right? All spoilers.
Whatever you want.
So as soon as they chopped Thanos' head off, I thought the same thing that everybody else thought. Like, what are we going to do? Yeah. What is the rest of the movie going to be about?
It was like literally 5 minutes in, too. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, like, huge moment. Like, what is the rest of the movie going to be? And then after that, like, it keeps going. And aside from them chopping Thanos' head off, and I'm sure I'm forgetting other moments and that you're probably going to fill me in on just because you've seen it twice. But, like, I just felt the first hour was kind of boring and kind of slow. And it made me really nervous that, you know, not a whole lot was kind of happening in the first hour. It was a lot of talking. It was a lot of getting people together and trying to figure out what we're going to do, which, again, makes sense. They got to set up the story, but it was just kind of boring. And so I was like, man, this movie doesn't need to be 3 hours long. Like, they could, you know, kind of speed this up a little. Like, let's get going. But then again, it just kept going, and it was epic. And so first, like, little problem that I have that, again, I don't have, like, it doesn't ruin the movie for me, but when they first reveal the fact that it's going to involve time travel, I was very, like, disappointed. Like, as soon as they chop Thanos' head off and they start going, well, how are we going to get this fixed? What are we going to do? And then it's basically like, ooh, I have, like, this. And they're like, oh, like a time machine? Well, no, it's more like, yeah, it's a time machine.
Yeah, I've
like,
all read.
Yeah, so, like, it was funny. But at the same time, I'm like, really? Like, come on, man. Like, time travel. And then they're comparing it to, you know, Back to the Future, Hot Tub Time Machine, all these other time travel movies.
Die Hard.
And Die Hard, yeah, and it's not a time travel movie. It's funny. That was all funny, but I was like, man, I don't want a time travel movie. It just seemed like such a cop out. It seems like such a weak like plot point, and they're already saying how all these other movies have done it. And I was just like, man, like really? But they made it work. And so they made it work, and there's really no other way to do it because it did make sense, the fact that, you know, Thanos got what he wanted, so he made it to where it couldn't be undone.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the plot, like it makes sense. It's totally fine. But at first I kind of had a beef with like the time travel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of keeps going from there. I don't want to talk too long. So what do you think, I guess, based on like what I've said or some of your initial thoughts? Or
It's really 3 movies, honestly. Like it's
okay.
the first part is like build up and characters and just hopelessness basically, and then like the second part of the movie is like just like a heist, and then like the third part is literally just like non-stop action, like all like basically just conclusions and like wrapping everything up and just epic battle scenes. Like so it's like 3 separate movies, which is kind of jarring, I guess, because each part of it feels so different. But honestly, like, yeah, I was kind of nervous too because it was very slow after they chopped Thanos' head off.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I still like really liked it just because I liked how, because like I mean I don't know, I never saw anything about this movie, never saw any trailers or anything, but I was always of the mind that, you know, they're gonna fix it. Like they're gonna bring people back. I don't know who's gonna die. I don't know what's gonna go on, but I know that it's not gonna end like this.
Yeah.
But I thought it was nice that, you know, because in like most superhero movies, like even sequels to superhero movies or maybe movies in general, like the ball just starts rolling immediately. Like you just start, you know, things start getting fixed. Wheels are in motion for so long. And like things just start getting better immediately, even if the bad guy wins or succeeds. Like there's just automatically a plan in place. I liked how they just sort of were taking their time, and it almost made me think for a second. I was like, are they really just not going to have a way to like figure this out? Because like, because I never saw any of the trailers, so I was like, is Thanos really in this movie for like 5 seconds? And is it what is the rest of this movie going to be about? So I was getting nervous about that, but I also liked how just, I don't know, I liked the delivery of how like slow it was, I guess. Like it was slow, but I liked how like the 5 years later, like what a like punch to the gut that was, and then just like everyone's depressed, everyone's like has no idea what to do, like they're still trying to figure shit out. Like shout out to Hawkeye, he's freaking, can't believe they made him cool, honestly. I can't believe they made it, like they finally gave that character something to do and something worthwhile, and like made him better basically.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they've been trying to do since the get go, but it's like they finally did it like really well done in this movie. That is the other action scene, is he goes to Tokyo and like fucks up all the Yakuza.
Who are the Yakuza?
What do you mean the Yakuza?
Who are they?
The Yakuza are like Japanese gangsters.
And how do you know their name?
The Yakuza is just a common term, like the cartel, like the.
Oh, okay. Never heard it.
The mob, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's games that are literally just called Yakuza. I see them on like the PlayStation Store. But yeah, basically like, yeah, and there's a line in there where War Machine's like, yeah, it's Barton. He's like, you know, he's out there. They found like 50 bodies of like of cartel. Yeah, and they never got a shot off, and it's like, I wonder. That she was like, yeah, it could be anyone. Is like, you know, it's not. And then she's like, yeah, I know. Like, I don't even want to find him. Basically, like he's so messed up mentally. He's sort of doing good, but he's doing it in just a straight up assassin mentality.
Yeah.
Like he's not even like bringing people to justice. He's just killing the shit out of them. And I did like his line where he's like, the Yakuza mob boss guy is like, yo, like,
why are you doing this?
Like, why are you doing this? And like half the world got like Thanos, and you get me, basically. I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. So yeah, and I liked how the movie began, like the very beginning where it just begins with his family, because I kind of thought, I was like, oh shit, like his family survived the snap. Yeah. But then like it just takes them all away. Like again, it just does like a good job like setting the stage for like, this is like really hopeless. Everyone's pretty like pretty upset that no one's alive anymore, or or like no one they care about is alive anymore, I guess. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I thought the first act was slow for sure, but then like I don't know. That's sort of the end of my complaints. I have another one, but we'll get to it at the very end.
Okay.
Any other things you want to say? I got a lot to say, so I don't know. I feel like we should go back and forth, so I don't have to talk for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with you on Hawkeye. I was really glad they made him cool, like you said, because I've always liked Jeremy Renner as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I like him. He's got a
Since
good
SWAT,
face.
really.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I've liked him since SWAT, for sure. I liked him so much in that movie. I guess I've just liked everything since. I never saw like Hansel and Gretel, but he's got a couple other movies I haven't seen. But like I don't know, he was pretty cool in like the Bourne movie. I've always liked him as Hawkeye, and so I was glad that, like you said, they made him more useful. They made him cool. I was a little confused, but I guess, like you said, he just went psycho and like missed his family, so he was just gonna fill the void by killing everybody that he could get away with killing, since he had nothing left. So, and the other thing too is like I feel like, based on like the vibes I was reading in the movie theater, like, Hawkeye basically was like the hot guy in this movie, aside from Captain America. He had to replace Thor as the hot guy because like literally, dude, like audible gasp and like vaginas dropping when they show Thor fat. Like literally, dude, every chick in the theater was like, oh, man.
And you were laughing your ass off.
Laughing my ass off.
At them or at the movie?
Both. Like, literally both. Like, you've never... Like, it was just amazing. Like, you knew every chick in the theater was disappointed. Like, literally, Laney boners were, like, snapped in half. Like, it was insane. So I thought that was hilarious, and that kind of just brings me to Thor in general. I don't know how I feel. Like, I really loved the fact that he was so funny and so different in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it was such a serious movie. It was kind of off. Like, there's such high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of off-putting having him literally be fat in The Big Lebowski, like the whole movie. Like, I don't know. At some point in the movie, you just assumed he was going to like do some push-ups, get in shape again, and start like kicking ass, and still having maybe funny one-liners. But like, I just didn't think he was going to be like a fat drunk like the whole movie, which I thought was hilarious. But at the same time, I was like, man, can he like not be fat and like get serious here? Like, this is like the real deal. But he did get serious, I guess. He just kind of stayed fat. It was kind of funny, like seeing him in his like cool outfit, but
with
like
a gut.
Fat. Yeah, he's like taking the big Stormbreaker. He's like, yeah, I'll take Stormbreaker. Like you take Captain America having the hammer. That was like the biggest boner moment like ever.
Yeah.
I think I'm jumping ahead, but so I guess I should jump back then. The Ant-Man. Gamble brought this up, and it's kind of a good point, kind of a CinemaSins moment. So at the end of Ant-Man 2, when he gets stuck in the quantum realm because everybody on the outside turns to dust, that van is on top of a roof. And then 5 years later, it's in a storage shed, and he gets freed by a rat. So we kind of have a problem with all of that. Like, who moved the van from the roof to wherever it was at? Like, who moved it? And if they did, like, they didn't fuck with it at all, like a huge time machine van. Like they didn't, you're like not even time machine van, but like a quantum realm van, like whatever's going on with that thing, like somebody moved it. And if they didn't move it, then they just didn't stay consistent with where the van is located. And then the fact that he got freed by a rat after 5 years was kind of, I guess, like annoying, but it's kind of like a quick like cop out. And then he's back, and I'm a little like they showed him acting like a little goofy, but like I'm surprised his mind wasn't a little more melted. Like the way they talk about the quantum realm and about your mind melting and it messing with you and this and that. Like, how did the mom last 30 years in there, and how did Paul Rudd last 5 years in there? They both come out and they're essentially fine, except for the mom has like healing powers now.
Yeah, they've never really explained that in Ant-Man.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is for some reason. Like it. I don't know. It messes with you, but it doesn't mess with you. I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's just like, we got to get him out of there. He's got to get freed. How much time do you want to spend on this? Because, like, we could make something a little bit more feasible. I don't know. Just the fact that it took 5 years. Like, if it had taken, like, a week or something and a rat would have done it, I think it's a little bit worse because the odds of that are even slimmer than I guess 5 years. Because I mean, it took 5 years for anything to even happen. So I don't know. I guess that's enough time for me to be like, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, after 5 years, something. I mean, it doesn't have to be a rap, but it's literally something would happen to where like it would kick him out of there, or someone would hit a button or something.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that part of it. Like the 5 years thing made it a little bit more tolerable, but I still don't get who moved the van. But it's a minor thing. So Ant-Man's back, and then the other thing I had a problem with is Captain Marvel. I honestly had. I don't get it. I don't understand. Maybe seeing it a second time might help me, but like I don't know, I feel like they made the Captain Marvel movie. They like introduced this character, get it set up like right before Endgame. They show that post credit scene like she's gonna be a big help. She has like that first scene in the beginning with Thor where she's like there and she's like, I'm gonna go kill Thanos, and Thor's like, yeah, I like this chick, and I'm like, yeah, like. Because also at the beginning of the movie, I just assumed it would take place in the present and future. I didn't see any spoilers either. So I just assumed the whole movie was going to take place in the present and future. They're going to be fighting Thanos, and they needed Captain Marvel because of her strength. Like, she was going to be that X factor against Thanos since he has all these Infinity Stones. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And so the way the movie, unfolded, like, it just didn't happen the way I thought it would at all. Like, obviously we do time traveling. A lot of it takes place in the past. And Captain Marvel is like almost not involved in any of it. Like she has a couple of clutch moments, but like other than that, like she's barely in the movie, which kind of just like pissed me off. I don't know. Like, why'd we introduce her? Why'd we do all this hassle to get her there? And then and she's super hot and they like barely use her. Like we barely see her. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that. And it didn't go the way I thought it would. And she just wasn't in the movie a lot. I don't know how you feel about that. If you like even like somewhat agree, like it doesn't ruin the movie. It's just kind of confusing to me. Like it's almost, I just feel kind of cheated.
Well, to me, like especially with the way the movie ends, like I get the feeling that most of, except for maybe Thor, of the original Avengers are like never going to come back.
Exactly.
So to me, I'm like, give them as much screen time as possible. Like this is their last show, whereas like I'll probably I'll see her like a bunch more times because her movie was massively successful and a lot of people liked it, and it's it's a Marvel's only female superhero at this moment, so it's like I don't know. I kind of just I don't know. I kind of didn't really care. I kind of liked that honestly because that's one of my favorite things about it was that it like. Even like me not seeing the trailers and like you saw the trailers, right?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah. So like but even not, like you have some sort of way of thinking about where this is going to go. Like, okay, they're going to introduce Captain Marvel, so like we're going to, she's going to be very integral and like she's going to be like the thing that gets them over the edge or something like that. And I liked how basically throughout the movie they were like, here's your expectation and we're going to throw it out the window basically. Like you're not going to be able to guess what happens next. Like I like how they did that with Tony like sees his dad and Cap finally gets the hammer, and when he gets in the elevator like in Winter Soldier, like they mimic that same scene, and like the guy like gets his gun out and it's like, oh shit, we're about to see another like action scene or whatever, and he just like he does a smart thing and he's just like Hail Hydra, which was like, what the fuck, that's so like awesome. And then I don't know, just like stuff like that where I liked how just unpredictable it was. But yeah, yes. I kind of get now wanting more of her in the movie, but I don't want more of her in place of anyone else, basically.
No,
any of the people that are alive at the beginning of the movie. I'd like them over, I think, Black Panther and like I don't know other characters that I don't like as much, but like maybe Nebula, but like I don't know, just like everyone else I liked as much. Like I was like, give me as much as possible, because like I think that's like what's really good is like more than any other movie, I feel like every character had like some progression and they made each character more interesting, which they already liked them a lot. So like that's impressive that they did that. Except for maybe Rocket. They didn't really do much with him. He was pretty much just there to be funny.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm not a big fan of Nebula, but they definitely progressed her a lot, and she was like super important, super useful throughout the movie. But I don't like her. But at the same time, I did like the way they used her, and I liked her role in the movie. And I agree with everything you said about Captain Marvel. It's just kind of perplexing. But again, at the same time, like you said, she's the newest one. She's got more movies coming. Definitely, pay homage to Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., the guys that have been there that got this thing started. But yeah, it looks like Thor is there to stay. It looks like Thor is going to join the Guardians of the Galaxy, which to me is like so awesome. Yeah, it's so dope. I hope he's in Guardians 3. We'll dive into that in a second because I got something to say about that. But just to kind of finish the point about Captain Marvel, yeah, because again, I agree with what you're saying. The only reason why it just kind of bothers me is, again, the fact that she was just introduced. I thought she was going to be the X Factor. And like you said, I also do appreciate the fact that I assumed this one thing and it's the exact 180. Like, I'm kind of glad that, it wasn't that cut and dry, like predictable. So like, I agree with you on that point. It's just, she's so powerful. And this is like the highest stakes we've seen in the universe yet. And like, she's not there. That's the only thing that bothers me. It just doesn't make sense. Like, again, I don't want to sacrifice anybody else's screen time, like you said. And, and obviously those characters are great. And like, I don't want her to take away from somebody else. But like, in terms of like a strategy standpoint and like the superheroes, like if I were like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, ScarJo, like all those people, I'd be like, yo, where the hell is Captain Marvel? Like, where's this big cat? Like, we need her powers. Like this, I don't know, shit's gotten real. Like, I don't know, she's just very useful. So it just kind of was confusing because they don't really say where she's at or what she's doing. Like, what could be more important than what they're doing right now? But at the same time,
it's the whole universe,
Yeah. So, it's whatever. So yeah, we've covered that. What else you got? What's going on? What's going down?
That kind of leads me to my next point is like, how do you feel about them addressing two of your biggest complaints? Basically, like, where has she been all this time? They talk about that. How do you feel about that?
That was good. I mean, it was super brief, which I guess is fine. They don't have to harp on it because it's already a 3-hour movie. But
it'll probably be other movies, honestly. Honestly, like, I bet a lot of movies take place in that 5-year gap.
Yeah. And wait, what 5-year gap?
Between when they kill him and when Ant-Man is taken out of the thing.
What's gonna be in that 5-year gap?
Like, it'll be like, what is Captain Marvel doing right now? Or like, what is...
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, and they'll probably make movies on what she was doing the whole time the rest of the storyline was happening. Everything leading up to Infinity War, because she was gone that whole time. She was gone from like the 90s till now. Or whatever it was. But yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I guess they kind of had to, because they're like, yeah, like, where the fuck you been? She's like, well, there's other galaxies that need saving and they don't have you guys. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, appreciate it. Like, that covers that. So.
And then my other point is how do you feel about them finally killing off ScarJo?
Finally killing off ScarJo.
Because you were always like, dude, like, I hate how she's always in the battle and she's just a regular human. She should not be there.
Yeah.
And she's not there, and they found a way to make her useful, but not, I don't know, useful, but not like in a situation she should never survive in.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of my complaints are always like CinemaSin related. I'm just mad that it doesn't really make sense. But at the same time, like, I guess I didn't necessarily want ScarJo gone because like she's hot and she kicks ass, but like, I did appreciate the fact that she was more useful in this movie. They kind of had her playing a role that made sense. She's been around the longest, so she's kind of helped coordinate and she's kind of helping find a way to rescue, and she's just kind of leading the way. She's not necessarily like fighting and doing shit because she's a human, so like she's basically the most useless. So that was good. And then they made her really useful. And then by her like going on that mission, because like the second her and Hawkeye start walking up that thing, I just look at Gamble and I was like, one of them's gonna die. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, that's the only way to get the stone. Like, we've already seen that. Like, one of them's about to die. And he goes, fuck, man, like, don't ruin it for me. And I was like, again, like, we already know this, but so I was like, man, like, the whole time that scene's happening, him and I are kind of like whispering, like debating which one is it going to be, because, we didn't know. And
they play with it too, because like they both are fighting for each other.
Yeah. And which is also really risky because they both almost die, which would have been ironic. And so again, yeah, it was really good, and that's what I liked about this movie is it kept me guessing. You know, everybody kind of goes on their different mission, and you just kind of forget, like, you know, who's going for the Soul Stone. Like, oh shit, they sent them for the Soul Stone. Like,
They do a
that's
really
it.
good. I noticed my second time they do like a really good job of it because whenever they're briefing them on like, all right, these are where the stones are, like in their meeting, they like they talk about the first two. They talk about like New York, and they talk about like where Thor is going basically, and they like briefly just mentioned like, oh yeah, and there's one on Vormir, which is where the Soul Stone is, like real quick, and they like just
Yeah.
brush it over, and then they show Scarlett Johansson and like Jeremy Renner get in the spaceship, and they're like laughing like, oh man, like this is far from Budapest or whatever, and then like they go like 30 to 45 minutes without ever showing them again. They wait until like the end of the heist, and then they show them again. So like they try to make you forget about it, because I honestly didn't think about it at first. Like I like registered it, but I didn't think about like, oh shit, like one of them has to die.
Exactly. And so I really appreciated that. And then the fact that she died, I mean, it was really sad. And I mean, obviously this movie was full. Like, I couldn't believe how funny this movie was. I didn't expect it to be this funny.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I did expect it to be this sad. And so that was a really sad moment. But again, it like made her, you know, serve a purpose. And I feel like, not that this sounds kind of dickish, but in terms of strategy, like, yeah, she's probably the ideal person to die because
She does the least, yeah.
Yeah,
Her or Hawkeye, honestly. That's pretty smart that they sent them.
Yeah. And I guess Hawkeye's, you know, I guess out the game at this point by the end of the movie. I mean, they kind of tie up the storylines to, like we said, to where it looks like Thor is the only one that's going to stick around because
Pretty
it looks
much.
like Hawkeye is going back to the family. Captain America is now old. Tony R.I.P. And then
Hulk is just kind of being a scientist, and I think I don't know, he looks really messed up in the end of the movie.
how so?
I mean, his whole entire right side of his body is really
That's
messed
right.
up.
That's right.
But he could heal from that. He is a freaking monster, so who knows?
Well, let's talk about Hulk real quick now that you brought him up. Because I had some problems with him. I do kind of like the fact that he's like
Finally gotten to the point where, like,
they're together.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes it better. It just makes the character a little bit more convenient because you can understand him, but yet he gets to be Hulk the whole time. You don't have to deal with him being a boring human. Like, you get to be like, hey, there's the Hulk. You know, at any moment he can punch something, so that's always nice to have. But then he's also smart and you can understand him talk. So, like, I appreciate the convenience of that, but at the same time, to me, it was almost another movie. Well, I feel like it's been forever. Infinity Wars, I guess, is just that epic. I feel like it's been multiple movies, but I forget he does a little bit in Ragnarok, but it's more towards the beginning. But basically, it's just another movie where Hulk, to me, is kind of underused. Like, he's kind of boring. Like, he doesn't really do anything. Like, he doesn't really do anything in Infinity War or this movie.
He fights in the beginning. He fights Thanos one-on-one.
Yeah, I know, and that's it. That's all we see. The rest of the movie, he's a kind of worthless, and then he's like then he's in the giant Iron Man at the end of the movie, and that's okay. I don't know. I like the Hulk, and so I like to actually see him do Hulk stuff in the movies, and so I was just a little disappointed that he didn't get to do a little bit more in regards to fighting in this movie. And in Infinity War, too. I mean, after he gets his ass kicked at the beginning of the movie, he doesn't really do anything the rest of the movie. So that's just kind of a complaint I have against Hulk. I wish he got to do more. And I don't know if he's going to come back or not. I guess he's another one that's kind of maybe not.
Yeah, well, they can't they don't have the rights to do a single Hulk movie, so he'll have to be a part of something else.
Yeah, which is confusing that they can put him in all these movies, but they can't make him in a single movie.
It's just how the rights work. I have literally no idea why or
who else
how
has
that makes sense. Universal.
Oh, okay.
It's something like Marvel can make it, but like Universal like publishes it or something like that, or distributes it. So like instead of getting all of the money, Disney would get like 50% or 70%. Like they would not get a substantial part of the money, and it's like, well, why the fuck would we do that then?
Yeah.
Because it's just like we're taking all the risk and you're getting money out of it. But yeah. I don't know. I think they might bench him until like the next Avengers, which will be like a long time from now. And I think it's like, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty interesting to see if they make Spider-Man or someone be the leader. Like I think that would be really cool. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, what else you got?
let's see, more stuff during the heist. I think it's funny that they went into what is considered the worst Marvel movie, but I don't really think so. But it's probably like it's in the bottom echelon of the Dark World. Like they go into that timeline, which I thought was pretty funny. Like of all the movies to go back in time to, I was like, really, we're gonna go back in time to the second Thor movie. And they bring back Natalie Portman, which was also like, wow, I can't believe they did that. They brought back a lot of people I never thought that we'd see again.
Yeah.
Like Loki.
Whatever happened to her? Did she die?
No, they broke up. They make a funny joke about it in like Thor Ragnarok. He's like, yeah, she dumped me, or like it was a mutual dumping. We both dumped on each other. Like he says something like that, and like that's all that there is basically. Like they broke up because, dude, it's pretty ridiculous. Like Natalie Portman has never been a good love interest in a movie, I feel like.
Yeah, right?
Like, I just put that together. She's sucked in both Thors and Star Wars. But yeah, I don't know. I like that.
Black
I like
Swan, no?
Black Swan. Yeah, but that's
Lesbian love interest.
yeah. And I've never seen it, so I can't really comment on it.
It's hot.
Nice. Let's see.
Strange erotic journey from Milan to Minsk.
From Milan to Minsk. I thought it was funny whenever Thor got the hammer again, and then he takes it through time, which I was like, holy shit! Like, is he really just taking it all the way to the future? But obviously, it's set up for. I also thought it was really sick when he like holds both his hands out and he gets like both the axe and Mjolnir. It's like, holy shit, dude! This is so fucking epic. And also, like, while I'm on it, I also liked how they called back to the first Avengers where he charges up Iron Man's suit. Basically, like, Iron Man takes this thing out of his back and Thor strikes him with lightning and it charges him up and he shoots it all at Thanos. I was like, oh my god. Anyway, that was freaking dope. I don't know. I thought it was cool to see another version of the Avengers scene where where it ends and they're all like, what happens afterwards, basically. And
what do you mean?
I mean, when they go back to the first Avengers movie in 2012,
yes.
And we see what happens after. He's like, all right, let's stop posing like a bunch of jackasses, like. And of course, the America's ass joke was pretty funny. I initially was like, what the hell? And then they got the payoff there when he fights himself. I was like, yeah, that was pretty nice.
And I thought it was pretty epic that he was fighting himself, too.
Yeah, that was sick. And then he uses, like, he's like, what would be the weakness? And he's like, he'd be really shocked if he knew Bucky was alive. And he tells him. So, thought that was funny. I really liked how he was like, yeah, I can do this all day. And he's like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, thanks. like he's tired of himself. Like, I don't know. That was really funny. I don't know, dude. I like the time heist stuff was so quick and so like fast paced and really fun. Honestly, it wasn't. The rest of the movie is like really serious and it's still like fun, but that part of the movie was like so just like high energy. You know, anything goes. Just like a normal Marvel movie. Honestly, like normal Marvel movies aren't that serious.
Yeah.
But like I really like that part of the movie. But then we get to the final part and it was just super epic. We finally get to see Spider-Man use the insta-kill mode. That was sick. Seeing Black Panther do his thing. I was awesome. Seeing Falcon like stick his wings in the guy to like knock him over, basically. And I don't know, just all those heroes finally like doing action together because Infinity War they do it all like separately, fighting Thanos. And we finally get to see them all like strike, and finally get to see Captain say "Avengers Assemble." I don't know, man. Really satisfying.
Very.
I think that's the word I would use to describe is like giggity, like really satisfying. Like that's how I felt when I saw it. I was like, that was not how I thought I was going to get like this Avengers movie, but I really was pretty much satisfied with where everything went, basically.
Yeah.
Because I liked how I would say the minimum amount of people they had to kill was like 2, and they killed 2 people. And I don't know. I feel like even that's a low number, but I would have never expected them to kill the main and for a while the only female person, and then the original like Iron Man. I would have never expected they kill both of them.
Yeah.
And basically retire the other 2. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, back to Thor Dark World scene real quick because I had a question about it. like Rocket is like going to stab Natalie Portman in the back or something? Like does she have the Infinity Stone on her, in her? Like
It's
what
in
is going on?
her. She absorbs it.
Why?
Huh?
How?
Why? Like it's in the second Thor movie, but basically she sees it, and like an idiot, she gets closer to it, and it like an alien virus or something gets inside of her,
Oh wow.
and they have to do like some sort of magic thing, and it takes like the whole movie to get the stone out of her, and then I guess they messed up that reality, so that reality doesn't have that anymore. So that's weird. I don't know how that reality goes, but
Yeah.
so yeah.
Okay. And then this is kind of related to I didn't quite understand some of the time travel aspects of it to it because I know they basically explained it to where it's like, hey, it's a time travel movie, but it doesn't work like other time travel movies to where we're affecting the past, present, and future in different ways. And so I kind of got lost in that because I thought Tony didn't want to do it because basically if he did it and they fixed everything, he wouldn't have his daughter. But somehow they fixed everything and he still ended up having the same daughter. Like, how did that work?
He was worried that when they got the stones and they did the snap, it wouldn't be able to, like, it would have to all or nothing basically.
What do you mean all or nothing?
Like it would have to go. They would have to revert everything back to the way it was 5 years ago. So like everyone's alive again, even people that died, and then everyone that was born since then or anything that's happened since then is basically undone. He didn't want that to happen. He wanted like the time thing.
And that ended up not happening. That wasn't the case. Like the fucking Doctor Strange bald lady like basically disproved that theory. Is that what happened there?
I think it was more like he knew it was going to work that way, or he had a pretty good idea of how it was going to work, but like they do the time heist, right? His worry wasn't the heist itself, where like if they went back in time and they did all this stuff, like it would change things. His worry was the actual snapping, like how that would work. That's what he wanted. Like that's why he tells Hulk, he's like, remember, don't take anything away. Just bring everything that we lost back.
Oh, okay.
Like that's where the worry in him is like when he does the snap, like when Hulk does the snapping.
And the snap ended up working anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've kind of talked about ScarJo sacrificing herself, and now we're kind of talking about, filling the holes of the time travel. So this kind of brings me to Gamora. So Gamora originally sacrifices herself, not sacrifices herself. Thanos sacrifices her for the Soul Stone. And then that kind of gets undone because, the Avengers have to get the Soul Stone. So ScarJo gets sacrificed, and that's how Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone.
In that world.
So, in that world.
Yeah.
So hang on. So it undoes it in that world, and they put all the stones back, so everything goes back to normal. So that just means that Gamora and ScarJo are both sacrificed and both gone forever, because we see Chris Pratt searching for Gamora there at the end of the movie when Thor walks up. Do you not think that Guardians 3 might have a search for Gamora like plot line in it?
No, it will, but it'll be searching for that, like that alternate version of her, not like the real one. The real one doesn't exist. The real one can't exist because like that stone that had her in it is destroyed.
Okay, so they're going to try to get the 2014 version of Gamora that doesn't know him yet, and he's going to have to get her to re-fall in love with him?
Based on like what this movie does and like what I think makes sense, I think that's the only way, because the other one is gone forever. There's no bringing her back. You'd have to bring back a different version of her.
Okay. Well, I guess that kind of answers my question there. And then you already kind of touched on this, but so this movie, what makes this movie even more epic too is just the fact that I've kind of touched on this on previous movies. Like, this is probably the most audible movie I've ever seen, in the fact that everyone in the theater is making noise. Yeah. Even myself, I'm making noise. Like, there's multiple times where I was like gasping, or I was like, oh no, like, oh shit, or like, woo, like, like getting my white girl woo on, like having a good old time.
At what times? Like when?
So like when all the women got together for like the women's rights thing, like whenever it was like Captain Marvel, ScarJo, and like the Black Panther lady, like when all of them attacked at the same time, like me And like the girl from work that came with us, we were all like, woo, like, yeah, like, go girl. Like, and I like screamed out like 19th Amendment in the middle of the theater, and like they all started laughing. And so, so like that was a really cool moment. At the very, like literally the very beginning of the movie, we already talked about it, where Hawkeye's family turns to dust. I like literally the very beginning, I'm already like, oh shit, like this is already crazy. And then the biggest like moment was the reveal, like whenever Captain America's like, you know, fighting Thanos, and he's like beat the crap, and then all of a sudden like he's beat the crap, he's already getting tired, and now Thanos like brings out his whole army, and you're just like, okay, well, Cap could definitely die here. Like I could see that happening. And next thing you know, all you hear is like, hey, like, whoa, is anybody there? Like, hey, I'm on your left. And you're like, oh shit.
That was a sick
like,
way to bring him back.
Yeah, you're like, oh, Falcon's back. And then you see the portals, and like everybody comes. Like I'm getting chills just talking about it right now. Like the portal, like everybody comes back, and you just start screaming for each hero that comes back. And like the fact that Black Panther was first, like everybody in the theater's like, oh, and so everybody's like screaming Wakanda. I'm screaming T'Challa. Like we're all freaking out. So that was really epic. Like I'm literally getting chills, like just talking about it. So like, that's how epic it was. And then my favorite one is again when they show everybody, like when they reveal everybody, but then like when they reveal Spider-Man, like I almost started crying. Like I was so happy to have T'Challa and Peter back. And so, and then like you said, when everybody comes together and they just have that shot of just all the heroes on that dark planet, and he says Avengers assemble. I mean, that's like the ultimate, like, you know, come your pants moment.
Yeah,
And
I got goosebumps on that one. I like, I mean, it looked like a generic African American like basketball team. Just, you know, someone just dunked all over the opposition. Like I was doing that thing, you know, where my arms are spread and my mouth is open. I was doing that when he caught the hammer. I was like, oh my god, finally.
Yeah.
Thor,
yeah, that was the other moment. Yeah, Captain America using the hammer was very epic, very big moment.
Yeah, and then Thor's like, I knew it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because he made it giggle in Ultron. He made it giggle in Ultron, and then he wasn't worthy of it because he knew Bucky killed Tony's parents, and his conscience was all clouded. And then once he was all cleared up in this movie, he was able to use the hammer.
Mm-hmm. So what? Like, I guess we should get to like, what do you think about the death at the end of it?
No, before we do that, just because I still got another one last note here, is the fact that it happened twice in the movie, and the second time that happens, you know, it kind of leads into what you're talking about. But the first time, maybe it happens elsewhere too, but like the one I had the problem with is when it's 2014 Thanos coming back in, and they've got the glove, and you know, that explosion happened from Thanos' ship or whatever, and it's like Captain America, Thor, and I guess Iron Man.
Yeah,
they're fighting Thanos 3-on-1, and you're like, oh, okay, like hopefully they'll like kick his ass here. Like there's 3 of them, he doesn't have the stones yet, and I literally hate it. They have him outnumbered 3-1, and they all attack at the same time, but that lasts like 5 seconds, and somehow he gets it to where they only attack one at a time. And I just can't stand that. Like, you know, if you just keep attacking him 3 at a time, like you're bound to get him at least once, right? Like, why do they attack 1 at a time? Like, I can't stand that.
I don't think that's true, dude.
What do you mean?
I don't think that's true.
What? How is that not, like, if you're saying that he can hold off 3 people every single time, like nobody's gonna stab him in the back once?
No,
like,
I think they do it. I think they do attack him all together. For more
at the very beginning, and then he hits him off, and then they all start attacking him 1 at a time after that. And yeah, they might get moments where 2 of them come in, but still, like the fact that they struggled so much during that fight kind of frustrated me. And then at the end of the movie, it kind of happens again to where, like, you know, whenever, like, for example, like Peter has the glove, you know, the gauntlet. Like, everybody sees him, and, like, everybody's helping him, like, get away and, like, get to the next part. Like, everybody's there, like, you know, Pepper and Valkyrie, and, like, everyone's helping out. Everyone's active, even though, like, they're in the middle of this epic battle. And then right when it gets to the end where they're all, like, fighting Thanos, and he has the glove, and he's about to snap, and they keep attacking him one at a time. It's like, where did everybody go? Where is everybody at? Why are we doing this one at a time? And then, of course, it worked out because Tony did the super sick, like, gloved switcheroo. But, like, I don't know. Up until that moment, I was like, why? Like, why one at a time? Like, where's everybody at? Like, what's everybody doing right now?
Man, I
Does
don't.
that make any sense what I'm talking about?
It's making sense in the fact that I understand what you're saying. I just don't feel that way.
Yeah, but, I mean,
Like I
in
don't
terms of
think I don't think they're attacking one at a
I-
time.
But they are. Like, where's Pepper? Where's War Machine? Where's Spider-Man? Where's Valkyrie?
They
Where's
all the girls stack up and they clear a path for Captain Marvel.
Okay, I'm talking about when Thanos has the glove at the end, though.
That is the end.
What do you mean?
Like they all stack up to like basically protect and get the glove across the field or whatever. They all stack up and then they encounter all the army of Thanos, so they get like they're getting distracted by that until it's just her. And as just her, he intercepts that and then he fights her. Then after that, Thor and Captain America attack him at the same time because they're trying to. It's kind of a weird. I can't like describe the hand motions, but they're some way they're trying to force the axe through his neck, basically.
Yeah.
Because there's some sort of I don't know kung fu business going on there. So they're attacking him at the same time, and then it's just Iron Man.
Yeah. So where's everybody at when it's just Iron Man?
They just got defeated.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like they're all just hanging out, but you know.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I can see how that would be frustrating, but I did not feel that way. I've seen it twice, and I don't know. I never got the grasp of like, okay, now we're gonna attack them one at a time, so we can be as dumb about this as possible. I thought it was more of like he kind of makes his way through all of them, and then there's only a couple left because Ant-Man's turning his car on, hot wiring it with the Wasp, and then he beats down Cap and Thor at the same time.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man gets swallowed up by all the little whatever things.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the fact we're getting another smashy, two big armies attacking each other?
See, this time it worked. I don't know. Like their smashy army. Like as soon as they did, I was like, oh, here we go, big army fight. But I don't know. They made theirs more entertaining because I mean they had most of their fighters are like superheroes. Like it's not just like nameless faces. There's big names out there. So yeah, it worked. I mean the movie is pretty amazing. Now the question is, where does the legacy of this movie stand? I mean, is it the best Marvel movie? Is it in your top 5 of movies all time? Like every movie you've ever seen? Like where's kind of the legacy and the rating of this movie?
Well, we need to do a ranking one day. Like I said, in person, just because I think that'll take so long, and I feel like it'd be better if we were looking at each other or just interacting with a person. Just because that's a long time to be talking. But I mean, I assuredly say it's like top 3 for sure, if not number 1. I gotta think about it some more, and I'll probably see it again towards the very end of it being in theaters. But because I mean, that's like really I almost wish I could go back and someone could tell me, but not spoil it. Be like, don't. Just think of this as like another movie. Don't think of it as like a sequel to Infinity War, because Infinity War is so like just bam, 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 like action, like nonstop, like jokes, and like it's fun and it just keeps going. Like there really isn't a lot of like slow talking moments and stuff. So like if you're expecting that from Endgame, you're gonna get disappointed until the last hour and a half or so, or I guess from when they start to go to the heist until Tony dies. Because it is like way slower. Yeah. But I don't know if I like that more or less, because I do like. Because I initially made the comparison of it in Godfather, which I think is kind of accurate, because Godfather is a slow movie and it's long, but it's also awesome. So I don't. sometimes it can be pulled off in a good way, and I think this movie pulls it off in a good way. I just don't know if I prefer that over a movie that's 30 minutes shorter and is, it's just a faster paced film.
Yeah, I kind of keep thinking about that too. I'm like, yo, like, I don't know. I feel like this movie's so epic. It almost like, maybe it's just me, but it almost like discredits Infinity War for me to where I'm just like, yo, like, I don't know. You're just like, that's just part one. Like, part two, like, wraps everything up. So it's like, who cares about part one anymore? But I don't know. It's kind of a weird way of thinking, but
and it's just like,
the way I think about it.
I mean, how many movies where, because this is basically like the third one, the third in a trilogy, basically, because, you have Infinity War, you have this, and then you have the first Avengers, because most people don't even count the second one because it doesn't really tie in as well. But, like, if you just look at, like, movies that are, like, how many can you say the third one is the best in the trilogy, Like,
yeah.
Rush Hour 3 sucks compared to the other two. Back to the Future 3 sucks compared to the other two. X-Men 3 sucks compared to the other two. Spider-Man 3 pretty much sucks compared to the other two. Superman 3.
A lot of blasphemy there, but yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's...
Spider-Man 3 is the best movie ever made. I mean, I think you were thinking more like maybe like Naked Gun 3 or maybe...
Naked Gun's great.
But the third one is still funny, but not as good as the first two.
We'll have to go back and watch them, but, like, I don't know. Just right now thinking about it, I'm like, they're all about the same to me, honestly. Like, if one's... If the other two are 10s and 3 is like a 9, like, it's... I don't know. Maybe they're not 10s, but you know what I mean. Like, they're very close.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just because we've seen them so many times. Like, it's almost refreshing to see anything else.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this Infinity War is epic. I still think Avengers 1 is epic. But yeah, this
Civil
movie...
War, to me. Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch Winter Soldier again. I don't like Civil War that much. I don't know why. It's always the middle. It's always the middle that loses me. The beginning and end are fine. It's just the middle part that I get bored. But yeah, I would say, I don't know where I would place this movie, and I don't know where I guess it compares against Infinity War. I guess one of these days I'm just going to sit down and I kind of want to watch both those movies like back to back.
Take a whole day, dude. If it's taking you 4 hours to watch a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, it's going to take you like the whole day.
That'd be a great day, though. Probably start in the morning and have it done by bedtime. But yeah, I would like to kind of watch those two movies back to back whenever I guess, are released, and I can do that. I know Infinity War is out, but I don't have it, and I don't feel like watching it again until
it's on Netflix, dude.
Out. Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
But like I'm saying, I don't feel like watching it again until I can watch Endgame right after it.
Yeah.
And I don't like Endgame's still in theater, and I'll wait a little bit, but. Yeah, I would like to kind of compare those two a little bit more, see them back to back, and see, I guess where it ranks Endgame in terms of all time. But I don't know, just in terms of like movies, just how epic it is and how long of a process it's been. Like, it's just so easy to put this movie like in my top 5 or top 10 like movies all time. Putting
movies
it up there
in general.
like,
wow.
Yeah, like The Dark Knight, Goodfellas, Godfather. Like I don't know how it can't be in that realm. Like, I don't know, like 22 movies and 10 or 11 years of doing it. Like, it's just a huge bow. Like, I don't know, like, how can you pass up on it? It just ties everything up.
All right, well, we should talk about, like, what do you think about the death specifically, like the wrapping up of everything?
It was super sad. I cried like a baby for like the last like 30 minutes of the movie or whatever with, Robert Downey Jr. dying. Or Tony Stark, I always call them by their actor names. But yeah, Tony Stark, like, I don't know. Yeah, I cried like a baby the whole time he was dead. I couldn't believe the fact that he died. Like, I don't know. It's just so sad just because he's so perfect as that role. And I get he's not doing it anymore. I don't know. It's just like you feel so attached to him. You just feel like you've been a part of it for so long. To see him die is just like, oh, man. And, felt bad for Pepper and, his family because he finally had like a family. He was finally pretty much out the game, and then, he ended up saving the universe, and he's the one who got it all started, and he's the one who ends it all, so I think it was really fitting. Literally, it was just like the best moment, him doing the glove switch and going, I am Iron Man, and just,
dusting him.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like the most epic ending ever, and it'd be so sweet. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would have been okay with it either way. Like, if he would have been able to do that and live, and maybe been like crippled, or if he would have like, or the way they did do it, where he like died. I mean, I would have been okay with it either way, just because it was so sad to like see him die. And then I've heard a rumor that everybody, like not everybody, but a few hardcore fans pointed out that one of the kid at the funeral was the same kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And the clanging that you hear at the ending of the end credit scene of the Iron Man clanging stuff, that basically that kid's going to be the next Iron Man, is kind of a rumor out there. Have you heard that confirmed?
Well, that's the same audio from the very first Iron Man movie when he's making his first suit.
Yeah, I know. But people are they're kind of making that leap.
They're speculating there. I'd rather the daughter, honestly, than some just random kid who was in one movie.
You'd rather his daughter be Iron Man, Iron Woman?
Yeah, I'd rather that, honestly, because I can believe. I don't know. I can believe it more. She's grown up with this stuff in her life the whole time, as opposed to this one kid who had a month stay with him. I'd rather that.
Yeah,
but I liked how they had the thing from the first movie, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. That was freaking. Thanks for punching me right in the stomach. Yeah, dude, it's pretty pathetic, but I saw the movie, I thought about it a long time, and then I saw it again yesterday, and I was pretty much just as sad watching him die. Like, I still was not able to, I was still very emotional about it, and I even noticed, other things that made it even sadder is, I don't know if I need to go back and watch and see, but, the acting in the very end of the movie is, really good, phenomenal. I didn't pick it up on the first time because I was so caught up in him dying, but, he talks about time travel. He's like, yeah, I could just throw this into the lake and we could go to bed and I could rest and it'd be all good. And then Pepper's like, you would never be able to rest if you knew there was a way to save him. And then, at the very end when he's dying, her last words to him are you can rest now. And I was like, oh my God. So I saw that tie together. And then, little things just when Happy is, John Favreau is talking to the daughter. Yeah. And they're talking about cheeseburgers. You can see his face is quivering, and I don't know. I've never seen him he's never really been a big part of any movie that I've seen. So I didn't know he could act that well, but that made me even sadder because good Lord, that's good job. That's a good job there.
Yeah.
And same thing with Hawkeye when he's talking about wishing she could see it or whatever. His face is shaking too. I don't know. Just really good job acting. I've never seen those actors act that well. And
well, they are good actors. I don't know what the hell DC's doing.
See, they have good actors. They just can't write, or I don't know. They can't pick a direction.
They can't direct them, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. I liked how they finally gave Cap the happy ending and retired him, basically. Which brings me
to
Captain
America.
Yes. Do you like him or Bucky being it? Do you like it more Sam?
I like it more Sam, dude. Yeah, Sam's where it's at.
All right, yeah. I could have gone either way, but I was satisfied.
Sam doesn't have the super serum, though, right? He's just a regular human.
Yeah.
So how is that going to work?
I don't know. They could give him some of that Black Panther stuff. I have literally no idea. Who knows?
Hopefully they do that. I don't know. Because I feel like they're going to have to give him something. I feel like he's another one. It's kind of been kind of borderline BS that he's been doing this, doing all this shit as just a regular human. But I know he mostly relies on
shooting and wings and stuff.
Yeah, gadgets and being a sidekick. But especially now if he's going to take over Captain America, I feel like they're going to need to kind of get him something more on the playing field. Which whether that be the super serum or you said the Black Panther magic. But yeah, I feel like if he's going to continue doing that, he's going to need something, just because otherwise it's not going to me, make a lot of sense. And ideally it would make him kind of useless on the battlefild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I that's my biggest problem with it is by a long shot, my biggest problem with it is I really wish it was kind of the last one or something like that, because now they have a time machine, they use it at the very end, so they know how to work it still. So how do they have any problems,
Yeah.
That's my problem with I like it for this movie because it's the ultimate problem. They need the ultimate solution, and they do it, and I would be fine with that being the ending, because then at what point, what challenges you if you can do time travel? They're gonna have to find some clever way to get out of that, because I don't see how anyone has. You could go through any of the Marvel movies and be like, here's the problem, and you could just go use the time machine and you would solve it.
Yeah.
So I don't like that.
It'll make something up. I'm sure it'll be like, oh, it's going to melt our minds if we overuse it. We have to do this in the present, or I don't know. They'll make something up.
Or maybe it kills or maybe it just like kills everyone who's used it. That would be cool.
That, or they start altering things so much to where all the realities get messed up and, nothing is functioning properly, or they've got some kind of equilibrium off balance or something stupid like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Just figure some not dumb way to make that happen, and I'll be good. But yeah, phenomenal movie. Fuego for sure.
Oh yeah. Definitely give it a fuego. Well, again, do you feel comfortable putting it in your top 5 or top 10 all time? I don't think you ever really said that.
Top 10 all time for sure. Top 5.
Top 5.
I'd have to think. It all comes down is it better than Infinity War or not? Because Infinity War's in the top 5.
Okay, so what's your top 5 then?
I'd have to think about it, but I like to have genre. I don't just pick my top 5. I kind of just pick the one I like best in each genre, if that makes any sense. So I'd pick like The Dark Knight. I'd pick Infinity War. I'd pick, I don't know, maybe like Anchorman or something like that for comedy, or like maybe Wedding Crashers. Maybe something like Inception for like a thriller sort of thing. I don't know, something like that. And then, I don't know, maybe throw a Naked Gun in there for just like silly, ridiculous comedy, or like that would be like somewhere around my top 5.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know. It wasn't anything I expected, and it blew me away. And at the same time, like, I don't know, it was, again, so epic and so built up. It almost like, I was like, really? That was it? And then I'm like, but who could have done better? Like, who's going to make a better movie than that? Like, it's like the ultimate superhero movie. And like, I just hope DC saw that movie and they just went like, yeah, we like suck. Like, we gotta start making real movies here. Like, we can't just get by with the shit that we're doing, because it's,
Dude, look at that movie and then look at Justice League, and they're supposed to be the same thing.
Ass,
It's pathetic. But I don't want them. That's like what I'm scared about. Is I'm like, don't do time travel and don't do a 3-hour movie. Let's do some safer things. Let's do no time travel and like a 2.5 maybe hour movie, and try to make that work first before you jump all the way up there.
I feel you, bro.
All right, you got anything else?
Glad we saw it now. I was gonna do the wrap review, but I'm just glad we finally saw it. I'm glad I got to see it as early as I did. Cannot wait for Spider-Man 2 now. I'm rock hard. I'm assuming Spider-Man 2 is gonna take place in the present now, based on kind of what we've seen in this movie. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's why they blurred out his passport, is because it takes place in 2023.
Okay.
Which is technically the present in the movies.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that'll be pretty sweet. I mean, we saw Nick Fury back. I think somebody brought up the point too. They're like, how do they pay all these actors? Like, I know they make a dick ton of money, but they have to pay all these people so much money too. And it's like, we got to thinking about it. How much did Sam Jackson get paid for Endgame? Does he get paid per movie? Does he just have like a kind of a salary contract at this point? Because he was in the movie for like 2 seconds.
I think the way they do it is, you sign a literal like 10 film deal for like $20 million or something, like some like ridiculous amount of money, and then I think you get maybe like a couple of, probably not Sam Jackson, but maybe like Iron Man, he probably got like some points on it, like the movie made a bunch of money, so I get like a percentage of that. I think that's what happened with him. And then I think with like Sam Jackson, it's like, yeah, we're going to sign you for 10 movie deal. Some of them you might be in it for 30 minutes. Some of them you might be in it for 5 seconds, but you have to be in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they do for them. And then like people like, I think Marissa Tomei and like Colby Smulders, I think they probably just do, like the same thing but less money, obviously. I don't know how it works. I think they had an article on like what the salaries were. I didn't really want to look at it because it was like, I'm sure it's a ridiculous amount of money and I will be upset.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're making the best and the most popular movies, so they probably should make a lot of money, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's another thing. Is like, I was thinking about like during this movie, I was so emotional. I was like so like invested and like I was just so excited to see it. And it is kind of sad that I've never really felt anything like that in Star Wars. You know.
Oh, what in Star Wars?
Just I've never been like I haven't never been, but since the prequels, like 7, 8, Solo, Rogue One, I haven't really been that invested in it. It just sucks that like I don't know. To me, it sucks that there aren't moments where the whole crowd is like cheering or whatever whenever like someone grabs a lightsaber or something. I wish that was more common in movies in general, but especially Star Wars.
Okay.
I don't know. That was just my thought.
No, I feel you, bro. But hey, I mean, don't be shitting on Star Wars. It's, may the Force be with you. Your aura and your Force powers are going to be off.
Dude, maybe this movie, like maybe the 9th movie will be super, like just epic and sick and have tons of surprises and reveals. And then like maybe when the next one comes out after that, everyone will be really hyped and we'll have like that big moment of watching it.
God, I hope so. I don't get. I don't know. The more I think about it too is like, again, these Star Wars movies are great, but like it's almost getting to the point where they're kind of hurting themselves. Like, do you feel where I'm going with that? Like they're almost kind of making too many movies at this point, and they're not necessarily getting better.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, I think it is like that because it's not. I just think it's not diverse enough to where you can come out with more than one a year, and even one a year is kind of a little too much maybe, because with Marvel you can have all these different characters and they can have all these different personalities and they can be about ants or they can be in the universe or all this stuff, and then like Star Wars it's always Jedi, Force, Hope, Rebellion, Fuel.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of like the greatest things ever, though. Like that's what I look for in every movie. Is like, is there going to be hope? Like, are we going to rebel?
Is there going to be fuel? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we need to fuel up if we're going to rebel. But, yeah, I don't know, because I love the 7th movie. The 8th movie to me was epic, but still kind of almost a step. It was like epic and a step back at the same time. So I hope the 9th movie like kills it. And, if they want to have nostalgia moments, hopefully they're epic and they just have all the shit. They tie it all up and then they're done. And they just get off of it. Like, keep making Star Wars movies, but just get off of this timeline. So we'll see. And now I'm interested to see where Marvel's going to head with their timeline. Are they going to – because we're going to have Spider-Man 2, and then we don't really know what's after that still, right?
Yeah, we really don't. We speculate it's going to be like Black Widow. That'll probably be a prequel.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, so Black Widow might still happen, but obviously at this point it'd have to be a prequel.
Yeah, or it could be in that 5-year gap.
Could be in that 5-year gap. Yeah, she might be kicking ass during that 5 years. That'd be dope. Okay.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man 2, Black Widow, maybe Guardians 3 with Thor.
Guardians 3 for Thor is really like 100% happening.
With Thor, though, that's 100%. I know Guardians 3 is happening, but like Thor is like for sure going to be in it. I know it's like they say as Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was pretty funny, but like.
To me, if they're going to bring back James Gunn, who directed the other ones, and they put Thor in the beginning of his movie, he'd have to sign off on it. So like him being in there is pretty much like a guarantee. Because there's no way that the director would be like, yeah, you can put whatever character you want at the end of Endgame, and I'll just write them out, Like, I think he would want them in there, or he wouldn't. And, like, why wouldn't you? Because they're such a great combo. They're so funny.
Yeah, him and Chris Pratt are really good together, and him and Rocket are good together. So, yeah, I'm excited for all of that. So, I'm excited to see where they go with it, and I'm still, like, jizzing my pants for Spider-Man 2, though. Like, I'm more hyped for it. I feel like I'm more hyped for it than I was Endgame, and I don't know why, but...
It's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more fast paced.
Yeah, true. And then I'm just interested to see Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, and then I'm just interested to see Spider. Oh, that was another epic moment for me that I almost started crying about is whenever Peter and Ned see each other in the hallway, like after Tony's dead. I'm just like, oh, like man, it was just like so like back to the grind, but you're like depressed. I don't know, like it was very, very sad moment, but it was also really good to like see him, reunited with Ned since Ned had, I guess Ned had turned to dust, right?
Yeah, they both didn't age, so I guess they both were dusted.
Yeah, they were both. Yeah, well, I knew Peter was dusted. I forgot about that, but yeah, they were both dusted. Anyway, do you have any final thoughts?
No, dude, I think we said it all. I mean, I'll probably say some more stuff if we do like our end of the year awards or something, but other than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, is this the first Fuego movie we've had of the year? Is this the first movie this year that we've hands down given a Fuego?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is, but we also haven't reviewed that many movies. Well, we both gave Spider. Well, no, that came out in December. Never mind.
Spider-Verse. Oh yeah. So
we saw it in January, but it came out in December. So technically.
Yeah, technically. Yeah, I guess I can't think of another one, but yeah, I don't think I've seen another movie this year that I would consider Fuego. So right now, Endgame is front runner for movie of the year on our show, and then. We'll see where Spider-Man 2 stacks up. We'll see where Episode 9, and then all the crap in between. I mean, we've got Hobbs and Shaw coming up. That's probably going to be epic. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there.
All right, man. What do you want to talk about for a wrap?
So I was pulling it up, and there's too many lines, and just every time I was trying to read it, I wasn't really able to respond to you. So I figured I'd just save it for the next episode. I'll just save it for when we talk about basketball. I don't really have anything else for this episode.
All right, Ben. I was going to say just one line I really liked in freaking Rainy Days that I just like picked up on when Eminem's talking. It's like super small, but I love how he's like, Dre told me to rock the boat, and the dock is my pier. Like, I always love that. I don't know. I really like that.
Yeah, that is so dope. I forgot about that.
God, dude, so good, man. So good.
I know. He's got like endless. I don't know how he comes up with those because it's got to the point where the last couple of years where he's just like he never runs out of those kind of lines where it's like, I guess
a double entendre or triple entendre.
Yeah, double, triple entendre, homonyms. I feel like I've been reading like on, I don't even know what homonym is anymore, but I'm like reading it on here on Homicide. Like it's breaking down like a whole verse he's got. And they're like, yeah, he like uses all these different homonyms to describe like Jay-Z and A-Rod and the Yankees and the jig is up and like Jigga and like this and that. Like it's like, oh my God, there's so much there, like so much to break down that I couldn't keep up with all of it. But Homicide, I definitely like the song. Again, I kind of mentioned earlier, I wish they would have made a song sooner. And I guess Logic's like making a ton of music. Like he made the that Bobby Tarantino 2 mixtape, and then he like dropped an album called Supermarket, or it was a mixtape. I don't know. I never heard of it. Like I just saw it on Spotify one day. Like I feel like there was no like press or like release info around it. Like I don't know like what happened there. And now he's got this other album about to come out, and he's already dropped 3 singles from it, and this was the 3rd single, so I'm assuming the album's probably coming as soon as next Friday, if he's already dropped a 3rd single this past Friday. And like I said, it was with Eminem, and it was epic. They rap really freaking fast. I'd be interested, now that they've done this, I kind of hope they do another song to where maybe they don't necessarily try to rap as fast as they can. Maybe just make like a different song, and I'm interested to see. Still waiting on this Joyner Lucas album that's going to have, Eminem on it, apparently telling a storytelling song and whatever, and like, showing an M that you haven't seen in a while, or, all this hype that Joyner's giving it. So like, I really like waiting for that song and that album to come out. I don't know when the hell that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you give it? Would you give it like a Fuego? The song?
The song, yeah, sure. Yeah, I give it a Fuego. Just because, I mean, I would say it's like the best song ever, but I really like it. Like, I have no complaints about it just because they both come with the bars. Like, they don't necessarily have to rap fast. I appreciate the lyrics more than I do, like, the speed. Mm-hmm. But they have really great lyrics and they do them at a fast speed. So, yeah, I appreciate it. And I think the beat's pretty good. And I do love the Chris D'Elia thing at the end where it's like making, where it's the making fun of Eminem, and Eminem put it at the end of the song. Like, I think that's hilarious. So,
It's good. It's good. It's good.
give it a fuego, or what do you give it?
I'd have to listen to it more. I'd give it like a mad decent right now. It's just I can't absorb it in one listen as fast as they're rapping.
Yeah, no, yeah. The first time I heard it, I was like, "Geez, man!" And then I like played it for Gamble last night, and I picked up on a bunch of stuff, and then I picked up on more whenever I heard you listening to it. So yeah, the more you listen to it, the better it gets. You just pick up on new lines, and you can kind of understand it more. Just because that first listen, you're just like trying to keep up, and it's impossible.
Mm. All right, dude. Well, let's wrap it
up.
Well,
another classic in the books. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you thought of Avengers. If you're one of those people that spoiled it, F you. And then, again, like, comment, subscribe to the Decent Show. We're going to be having more content coming out. Be on the lookout for the next basketball episode. We're going to try to get Gamble back in here one of these days. But right now they're working that man. So we don't get to see his sweet ass as much as we used to. So hopefully we'll get him on a sode soon. He produced the last one. Go check out his music bed at the beginning of the end. The Pretty Fuego. For Reagan Horton, I'm Ryan Money. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you later.
Good thing that worked.
So you do have superpowers. We could be a team. We gonna get fame, money.
Don't forget the bitches.
There's not gonna be fame and there's not gonna be bitches. Okay, I didn't ask for any of this. I just want to be like everybody else.
That isn't what your parents wanted for you.
You're not my father.
But I love you like your father did. I believe in you like your father did. I had sex with your mother just like your father did.